Alright folks, here it is. You may remember that I said I invest all my Patreon funding into stuff that is relevant to my channel. And that's exactly what I did with the past couple of months of Patreon pledges. And what I got with that is this. The Caithness, made by Albion. Which is an absolutely gorgeous sword. It's just mind-blowing, pretty much, how great this is. I already knew about Albion swords. I had two of them before. One a older first gen Roman Sparta, and later a Squire line longsword that has been upgraded to have a grip similar to the next gens. And both of them were just amazing, and in particular the longsword actually taught me what a real sword feels like, because when I picked that up for the first time, before that I had only had, you know, cheaper sword replicas, and they just can't stand up to the higher end stuff. And when I picked it up, I immediately went, oh, so this is what a real sword feels like. And yeah, real in the sense of historically accurate. This is exactly how they are supposed to handle, how they're supposed to feel. If you time traveled and brought one of these back in time, they most likely wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Well, they would, because they would notice that the steel quality is better, because nowadays we have better steel than they did. But otherwise, it is a very faithful replica. It's the way Albion does it, they don't exactly replicate one particular sword, but they are inspired by particular finds or depictions, and then they make one that is very, very similar and definitely handles exactly the way that the originals did, so that it's one that could have existed in this very way. And by the way, I'm wearing gloves so that I don't have to clean off the fingerprints afterwards. The main reason why it handled so well is the distal taper, meaning that the blade is actually thicker here than it is at the tip. I don't know if you can see that in the video, probably not too well. And ignore the weird green reflections, by the way. My green screen is there, so that kind of interferes a little bit. And also the fuller here is pretty pronounced. I don't know if you can see that. Not too well, I suppose. But it has a pretty deep fuller right here near the guard. And that also has very positive effect. And it's just incredibly agile. It just wants to move in your hand. And also what I really like about this blade shape in particular is that it is a pretty damn good cutter, but it's also quite good at thrusting, because it becomes a fairly fine point here. It's not a needle point like you see on some longswords, but this is definitely very suitable for thrusting. Also because you definitely have the amount of control required to make precise thrusts, which is very nice. And it's just, this thing hasn't left my hand since I took it out of the box. It's just utterly awesome. And by the way, the green grip wrapping is custom. You can actually choose your color, and since green is my favorite color, that's of course what I went with. That's a bit too much green on the blade. There we go. So yeah, that is extremely nice. And like I said, it feels absolutely amazing. So again, thanks to everyone who pledged on Patreon. You are awesome, and you made this possible. And they are a bit tough to afford, because Albion swords in general start at around $850. So that's quite a lot of money to spend on anything, pretty much. So yeah, but that made it possible, and I am very, very grateful for that. And of course, you, the viewer, will also get something out of that because, well, that means more videos, more tests, and other stuff. And one thing that I also like about this sword is it's so confident in itself that if you don't like it, it just flips you the bird. It just tells you to bugger off. But to be a bit more serious about it, this would actually make for a very, very good striking weapon. You know, if you were to, in very close quarters, jab that in someone's face, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna knock a few teeth loose. Which, yeah, fortunately I don't have to duel with this nowadays, but I can definitely enjoy the heck out of it. So yeah, thanks for your support, thanks for watching, and look forward to more of this beauty.